Okay, hey everybody, it's Adri Theron, and I have another Otome video for you. So, as you know, if you're watching any of my other videos, I am playing through a bunch of Otome games, and I'm currently working on Amnesia Later X Crowd, which I got a key through Keymailer from Idea Factory. So, thank you to both those companies for the key. I really do appreciate it. Amnesia is one of their older titles. Amnesia, I think, was actually like long, long time ago. One of the first ones that Idea Factory actually like translated and published themselves in the US, I believe. So back when like they put it on PC on Steam, and then I think PS Vita. I don't know. I got it on Steam. So Amnesia Later X Crowd is the fan disc to Amnesia Memories, so it is a continuation. So, is it a good story to play by itself? I do think the game is pretty enjoyable, but I mean, if you didn't play the first one, I mean, you probably shouldn't go play the fan disc because you're gonna miss a lot of context. You're gonna not gonna understand what they're talking about. So, just FYI, this is game number two. Well, actually, it's technically Amnesia Later X Crowd is a combination of the two Amnesia fan discs, Amnesia Later, Amnesia Crowd, which were originally released separately in Japan, and thankfully, when they brought it over to the US, they combined them together because they're both kind of on the shorter side. So, put together, they're kind of a normal fan disc side. So, today we're talking about Ikki because I finished Ikki's route. So, I've already done Toma and Ukyo, and they were my like Toma's my favorite, and then it goes Ukyo, and then Ikki's third, and then Shin's after that, and then Kent is last. I'm not a huge Kent fan. He is sweet, but I'm not a huge Kent fan. But I do love Ikki. So I do genuinely like the Amnesia game series. I do, oddly enough, think I actually kind of like the fan disc a little bit more than the original game, which is kind of weird. I don't know if it's because the main character had amnesia in the first game, which obviously is kind of like a giant part of the game. Amnesia's in the title, right? Um, but I think I kind of like having the MC have a little bit more of a personality. So you get to see a lot of her personality come out. So, how the game is set up is you have Amnesia Later and you have Amnesia Crowd. So when you start Amnesia Later, there's this little new world story, and with a route for each guy, it's like a little short story, and it's a completely different world. So it's not a continuation of anything that happened in the first game, oddly enough. But you get a cute little story. You do that, and it unlocks the after story. So then you can go to Ikki's after story. That after story and Amnesia Later picks up right where Ikki's Amnesia memory story ended. Okay, for the second half of the game, Amnesia Crowd, you have a bunch of different options. You have these working little short stories you can unlock. You have this dated scenario, which is pretty cute and gives you a CG. You have also this suspense story, which is set during the time period of the original game, but it's like an extra story that wasn't in the original game. So that's pretty neat. I liked that. And that one has choices and, good and bad ends. And then you have the after story for Amnesia Crowd, which picks up pretty much where Amnesia Later ends, more or less. So how I've kind of been playing it is I go down to Crowd, do the suspense story, and then I go back up to Amnesia Later, do the little story to unlock the route, do the route there, and then go back to Amnesia Crowd to unlock the route. Um, that's just how I like playing it. It's a little bit more on the complicated side. Maybe I don't necessarily recommend that, but I kind of like getting the suspense route done before the after stories for Later and Crowd, just because it's set before. So yeah, but yeah, the suspense stories are good. If you like, don't like bad endings. Unfortunately, suspense does bring back the bad endings, but for all the other stories, there's no bad endings that I've seen so far. So Ikki, our lover boy, our playboy, kind of, not really. Our popular guy. So as you found out in the first game, Ikki like wished upon a star, and a god granted his wish, and his wish was to be more popular with girls. And now girls are crazy for Ikki, and Ikki really should be like a pop star, an idol. Maybe it's better because maybe he realizes that if he was a pop idol, that his fans might burn down the world. So, Ikki has crazy fangirls. And, it's kind of funny because Ikki, like, wishing upon a star and this god just randomly being like, oh, yeah, here you go. It kind of reminds you of, like, be careful with your wishes, right? It doesn't always turn out well. So, you work in the first game, you work at the cafe with Ikki, you find out about his eyes. His eyes don't work on you for whatever reason. And you end up joining his fan club, I guess, trying to learn out some more things about him. And his fan club is the only way to date him, and the girls date him for 3 months, and then they're supposed to break up. And then it's the next girl's turn. Well, you get amnesia during all this. You forget about the rules. And Ikki actually legitimately likes you and doesn't necessarily want things to end after 3 months, right? But his fangirls are crazy. And some of this is also, like, again, with the story that you learn about from Ukyo's route is, like, the world is also trying to kill you. So some of these things are also happening, not just because of the people, but also because of, like, the world is affecting their intentions towards you. And you just get, like, oh, poor you. Poor heroine of Amnesia Memories, because you just get died a lot and put in awful situations. And for Ikki's route, his fangirl club is basically trying to kill you because you're supposed to break up with Ikki after so long, and you're not doing the things you're supposed to, and they're losing their minds because you're not following the rules, including Rika. So at the end of that, like, the fan club got closed down, and now you're picking up. So other things that were kind of going on is, I think your parents are divorced and your dad's remarried, and he moved in with his new wife or something, and he wants you to live with him because you're living alone for college. I don't know if there's an aspect to save money of that too. And he's trying to get you to move home, but then that, takes you away from your job, your friends, and your college. So, and Ikki's like, you can live with me. So kind of at the end of Amnesia Memories, you and Ikki are in love. You're boyfriend and girlfriend now. The fan club has been shut down, kind of. No one's trying to kill you anymore because you made it through August. And your dad has kind of sort of granted permission for you to move in with your boyfriend, Ikki, who you've only known for a few months, if we're being real honest. You guys have only been dating for like a couple months and you're moving in together. It's kind of fast. So Ikki's older. He's at like the end of college-ish. I think you're at like the beginning of college-ish, something like that. So later picks up and you guys are moving in together. So this route is not like Nora Roberts level spicy. Okay, we're never gonna get that in a game that gets on the Switch, I don't feel like. Maybe one day we will. I'm hoping for it. There are some Steam games for that. So this game is not like R18 rated, right? Okay. So there's not like a crazy spice. But of the routes I've played so far, this is definitely Ikki is a little bit on the spicier side, making innuendos at you, and it's very fun and entertaining. I very much enjoyed it. And you also get to see Ikki as he starts to have to navigate the world, because, like, realistically, like, Ikki's at the end of college. You get to see him graduate and go into his career, which he's an accountant major and he's an accountant, and I totally forgot about that. But he's not a pop star, he's not an idol. So poor people that have to work with Ikki, poor women who have to work with Ikki, is all I can say. His eyes are definitely not a blessing in that aspect. So you get to see Ikki grow and navigate. So that's fun because it's like you get to see him deal with like the consequences of his eyes in like kind of a workplace setting a little bit. I do kind of wish it we leaned into it a little bit more. Because like some of the problems it causes in the story, I'm kind of like, okay, yes, I do agree this would happen. I do feel like a lot worse things would happen though. I'm like, if we're gonna be 100% honest. So they don't go really dark with it. They don't go dark with it. It's There are no bad ends in this game. They don't go super dark with it. There's no bad endings, so you don't really have to worry about anything. But you're going to see Ikki deal with the consequences of his eyes, and as you guys navigate being lovers, and you're your little like blushy self, and yeah, Ikki's just really hot, and he's all up, kind of like, I respect your boundaries. I'm not going to push you too much farther than you want to go. But he's like, but I want you. Just, FYI, just because you need to know that. And I do appreciate that in this route. So overall, very cute route. Ikki also doesn't have like any super weird stuff from his route. I mean, obviously, like Tomo, Ukyo, and I've already played Shin's route, and I'll be doing that video next. But Shin's route, there's some baggage that has to be dealt with, so there's a little bit of focus away from the romance in those routes, right? Ikki doesn't really have that bad of baggage other than his fangirls, but his fangirls have kind of like calmed down. They don't necessarily like you because you are with Ikki, but they're not trying to kill you anymore since it's not August, right? So, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed his route, and I really liked the little spiciness that they have in it. I don't feel like I don't feel like any of the other routes were quite as spicy as Ikki's. And since I only have Kent left, I really don't see Kent being very spicy. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, guys, but I don't see it. Anyway, that's it for this video, as I just like blurb on about my Otome game Husbandos. And if you're watching these, I do appreciate it. So it's very sweet of you. And I hope to see you in the next one. And bye-bye.